Hello, beautiful souls. Teresa Coutman here, and this is the Woo Report, and this looks like more of the same. Oh, except this, look at this. This right here, and the energy, yesterday. And that was about 12:31-ish yesterday. I'm not exact, so I'm going to start keeping a calendar of figuring out what I was doing, how I was feeling during some peak times. I did lay down yesterday and I felt like, oh gosh, I have to. Sometimes I just like do it because, just as a restorative kind of just reset. But I felt like, I fell into like sleep. So I've been going through a lot. So maybe this is part of this this integration that we're going through. Because if you look at yesterday's, there was a lot of just static. Look at it all. Just very, very lot of annoyances and things like that, maybe. Worse than any kind of just little bits of, annoyances. There was a lot of integration of just worldviews and where do you stand kind of issues. So I went over yesterday's, which is good till 10, in the previous. I'm going to attach it here because I had to do something and had to do some editing with it. So I just decided that there's so much, the part chatty grandma that I am, there was a lot of chatting about issues and different things we're going through. And if you want to listen to more of a, philosophical and an in-depth dive into what I believe is going on in the woo and what's happening in the collective, do that. I do talk about some of my the intuition and a dream that I had and the spread on the 10th, and the spread that I did on the morning of the 10th was from 10 a.m. on the 10th to 10 a.m. the next day. How I said that it was really important. We'll see if the 3 tarot cards are important. The 3 major arcana, which usually means something big is going to happen. Now I'm realizing that, and it did happen. So, really interesting. And we're going through a time of integrating all these things, deciding who we are going to align with. And in my case, I didn't realize how much the Constitution meant to me. So now I realize, okay, I have these layers. The truth, God, and those kind of things. That is one of my main tenets, my main foundation. Second, I thought was my family. Now, above that, I have the Constitution of the United States of America. And not wanting to lose that foundation of our country. So, and if other people are going through these things too, and not even to this point of realizing, oh, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling I need that structure, I want that structure, and all those kind of things the Constitution goes way back, and it's based on a whole bunch of different philosophies, but like from the Magna Carta, it's just an evolution of Western culture. So a lot of people don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that, and we still have a great thing. I mean, it's full of corruption. It needs to be cleaned up and even clarified with the Constitution. Taking out the things that mucked it up in the first place. 17th Amendment, 13th Amendment. Look through those, because some of it's really easy. Like, I shouldn't say it's easy, but how much are things going to change if we just make our state legislatures appoint senators? The House is the people's, and we elect them by popular vote. The senators that get sent to Washington are appointed by our states, and there's only 2. Everybody gets 2. And that amendment was enacted because Oregon, during the expansion of the West, couldn't get a senator in. So tough luck. They would have sooner or later got their shit together. So anyway, there's a lot of overwhelm for people, including myself, that we're having to get through. These are major things. And you'd think that that small event would trigger this. It's just unbelievable. And they were in my readings, and I actually had a dream about, now that today I realized, oh my goodness, there were parts of that were very prophetic for the collective, but I didn't put it out right away because I wanted to do this video for it. But I did a script and I did the video, so I really need to, to share that and to be more timely in my sharing. Not that anybody's listening right now, but I hope to get more subscribers and more viewers. So yesterday's energy was, we're going through this, and this is like, I'm just want to see the website's take on it when they update it for today. But when they update it, it will fill in this, but we're behind in the time zones and stuff. So what we get will be already lived energy pretty much till 10 a.m. This will be till 10 a.m. today. It will be filled in, but they're calling it today, 9:16. So I consider my guidance from 9:16 today, after this update, after 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow's update. So it's a little bit confusing, but I think I have it down now. So let's look at today's reading. See how that's going. Push that down a little bit. Okay, so here's our reading for today. We have the foundation as the Ace of Wands. At the base of today's energy, it's a fresh surge of vitality and inspiration, ignition, the spark of something new collectively. And I do like the card visuals, that it's a keyhole that you're seeing her through. We're entering a day of activation. This is green light energy, but it requires mindful channeling or it burns out quickly. So we need to be mindful of what we're doing today. And working on our projects. Let's let go of some of the things that have been happening in the collective and focus on just going forward in our own lives. But it does still matter, and we're still working through those bigger issues. But we'll always have those bigger issues, but they just seem like really nagging right now, and in our face. And I think the vibration shows that. The vibration card, again, is the 5 of Wands. So the 5 of Wands is just this nitpicky kind of things, no major conflicts, but just restless and competitive. The 5 of Wands suggests scattered energy and the games people play. That's what that card represents. This could show up as bickering, unorganized efforts, or clashes of will. Combined with the Ace of Wands, the spark may be setting off too many fires at once. So our challenge card is the 9 of Wands, showing up again. We're asked to endure. The challenge is resilience, holding our ground without becoming paranoid or defensive. And that's really tough, to hold your ground without becoming paranoid or defensive. But holding your ground, I'm like that because I'm not usually firm. So if I do get defensive and angry, it's usually because it's something that it's immovable almost. So yeah, where I am with the The Constitution, I'm immovable. And, my belief in God is immovable. Now, I'm not saying that I know everything or any religion knows everything about God. They do not. So, yeah. So some of the tenets are just dogma and, yeah, let's think about them. It doesn't even get me riled up. But if you said you cannot believe in any God and you cannot have these beliefs, I'd be very, very, those would be fighting words. I wouldn't accept wanting to live in a culture like that said no God, that this leader is your God, this government is your God. That's not going to work for me. So some of this, maybe we have to get through that, right? But in some of it, I feel too, though, that if I don't stand my ground on some of these issues that I'm going through, that, the people in my life might think that it's okay for them to continue something that I find abhorrent, and just, I can't live with the thought of them even having those kind of beliefs. So it's really a tough situation for a lot of people. And their beliefs may be totally different, like with the people who think that we should ban all guns to save children in schools. I think we should have open carry in schools. From the janitors or somebody. Kids can't have guns. I'm sorry, not open carry, concealed carry. Now, children shouldn't have guns in school, but some of the workers there, let's say janitors, they're going to be undercover security kind of things. So I'd also like some commercial kitchens in the schools where we actually feed our children home-cooked food. Wouldn't that be great? Fresh veg and fruit, local, organic. Anyway, I've seen some really interesting recipes too, making things healthy, like the chicken nuggets with carrots. And I want to do that, but I also want to add real chicken. Chicken and carrot nuggets. Okay, so, but eating less protein. I don't think we need as much animal protein as we do eat. So you could get some of your protein needs, but also get those healthy carrots in the nugget. They looked really good. I'm going to really try to do more creative cooking like that. And also put in, I like sloppy joes. I was thinking about along with organic range-fed beef, because it's very expensive. Put mushrooms, maybe some soy also, and see how that comes. I would like these other flavors, like soy is not so flavorful, rather than turkey. Turkey adds a whole nother flavor, but I'm not sure that turkey would not be okay. I don't know. Okay, so the Nine of Wands, the challenge is resilience, holding our ground without becoming paranoid or defensive. That's so right on. Nothing we don't already know, right? The Nine of Wands says you've already fought long battles. Can you stand tall one more time? Fatigue is real, but so is strength. So, the people I have had the outs with in my family, I feel like if we do come together, it's going to be based on an understanding that they have to change, because their way of thinking is hurting them and hurting our country. And if they can't see that, then I don't know what to say about it. But if you allow them to keep thinking like that and thinking you're okay with that, as a parent, it just, puts it under the rug. And it's kind of like with drugs. Do you keep enabling the drug use? So a lot of these young people are dependent too, also on their parents who are having these beliefs, and are online, or the state or the school system. They're getting loans and are pretty much funding their, their rent and all those other things through grants and loans. So the Nine of Wands today, fatigue is real, but so is strength. So we have a challenge. And the outcome is the Eight of Wands. I haven't seen this card for a while. Things speed up dramatically with the Eight of Wands, so we can expect speed up of things. The Eight of Wands shows rapid progress, swift communication, or aligned movement. It says, despite today's tensions, momentum builds, news, synchronicities, or collective events may accelerate in surprising ways. So that's an interesting outcome considering where we're at in this political powder keg that we find ourselves in. And I would just ask people not to stay in their echo chambers, because people like me, I wasn't allowed on Twitter. I was banned forever. I wasn't allowed, always getting kicked out of Reddit. And I just find some of the information just shockingly wrong. Shockingly, and they'll use IMBD news as facts. You can't argue with these people. They're like, you can't debate at all because they don't want that even showing up in they just delete it and ban you. Okay. And I heard it used to be really good. People really used to like it. Because you could, you might not like Donald J. Trump and you may think he's a Nazi, but there's a lot of people who don't. And that's what people don't realize. They're saying all these things and dehumanizing people. That's what Nazis did. They dehumanized Jewish people so people could just kick them out, say off to the streets with you, out to some camp with you. You don't deserve to be here. That is propaganda Nazi behavior. And if people can't see themselves and look inward and say, hey, this is wrong, what we're doing, what they're doing on the news, the propaganda, I guess it happened all the way back to 2016 with just ratcheted up so much with the deplorables comment. So the only thing that gave me comfort through all this is that nobody listened. People didn't listen to that arm of the news and the lawfare and the different things that are happening in our country, that we need to clean out the Constitution, and things really need to be, it really should be streamlined. Our federal government should not be as big as it is, and our state should be stronger. Our state should be running our schools like they were before 1982 to 4. I don't know. Reagan was in for 8 years, and Reagan's the one that, he didn't write it or start it, but codified it into an institution or whatever. We need to stop them from continuing to do this because we don't need it. We don't need it's almost like meddling. And it's really funny. It's like the same thing Ronald Reagan was quoting. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. There's a problem. He was from the government, here to help with our education. And has it helped? It has not. So, all scores are down. But if you go to the parochial or, religious schools, private schools, their scores have not went down. So math, reading, they're still the same as they were a long, long time ago. So public schools are a problem, not really parents. So I think another thing could be, and I don't like that idea really of privatizing all of it, because I just hate privatization how it has been. It means like more corporate gobble up of everything, and we're not really running our own communities. We have these overlords, like Walmart and these fast food chains, that if they weren't here, we would have mom and pops having a business to raise a family. Okay. So the Eight of Wands, that's going to be an interesting one. Okay, I like that. That we're going to have some synchronicity, some news. Collective events may accelerate in surprising ways. We'll see. Okay, and then the hidden card is the Page of Cups. So underneath, the conflict, innocence, and emotional openness are present. The Page of cults. Oh, it's funny. The Page of Cups is soft, intuitive, and compassionate. A reminder not to lose playfulness or empathy in the scramble. So there's a lot of people that are, in their positions, but I'm not coming from like an unopen position, but my position has been solidified. I think my anger and my indignation has been, because this is the first time I actually come to this conclusion and have to process this. Oh, that's what it is. That's the difference between that group and me, and these are not compatible. The view for gun control is not compatible with the Constitution of the United States of America and the right to bear arms. So they're incompatible. Just like I have issues with, I have no problems with Muslims as a religion or whatever and having their own freedom to practice, but you can't change the law of the land because of your religion. We're just going to be another fighting little Europe areas, and I don't want that. I want the United States of America. Anyway, so with that's interesting. And the clarifiers today are the Fool from the Crow Tarot, and that's a leap into new beginnings, fresh starts, and risk-taking, combined with the Ace root. This amplifies the energy of ignition, so it's kind of interesting. That's kind of a little bit exciting, so I'm hoping maybe that's something to do with that little surge we had on the energy chart. That weird, big amplification. So the Hanged Man on the Tattoo Tarot is also a clarifier, and it counterbalances the Fool, a reminder to pause, gain new perspective, and not rush blindly forward. Together, these say leap, but leap with awareness. So that is an interesting tarot spread for the day. This is again from 10 a.m. today, a.m. to 10 a.m. tomorrow. And it's okay, so the flow of the day, inspiration surges, conflict arises, 5 of Wands. It can hold you center without burning out. Can you hold your center? And can you hold your foundation without burning out? That's going to be the challenge. Momentum built with the 8 of Wands. Despite struggle, acceleration, alignment arrive. An underlying truth, the Page of Cups. Innocence, play, and compassion guide the way through chaos. A new cycle is here, but leap forward only after seeing differently. So yeah, look at others' perspectives and decide where you are in that, what aligns with your true foundational beliefs, and how you want your life to go forward, and how you want to be as a collective. What group do you want to go with? And if neither of them, I'm not too married to either one. And I'm a libertarian, and so the libertarian leadership also aligned with President Trump, and some Democrats did also. But if you do align, know that you're going to be demonized. But we could create, like, I like the America First Party. That would be good, or something like that. So, based on, libertarian structures with safety nets, with social safety nets. Okay, so how these fit in, the weekly anchor is the 3 of Pentacles. This week is about teamwork. 5 of Wands warns against disorganized, ego-driven competition. And the 3 of Pentacles says, build together, not against each other. And, it's not been like that. Let me see, the monthly. Okay, yeah, here's the monthly draw. And I didn't write out like I have been doing in the daily. That's something I learned as I went. So next month I will put in all what these cards mean. And this is week 1. We already went through that. The Wheel of Fortune was week 1. Week 2 is cooperating together. This the 3 of Pentacles. They're so cute, the little beavers or whatever they are, the little animals. I think they are beavers. Teamwork, yeah. It warns against disorganized, ego-driven competition. Built together, not against each other. The 8 of Pentacles, the lesson of the month. I'm sorry. The 8 of Pentacles, the theme of the month. That was a theme. It's like lesson. No, the first one's the theme. This 8 of Pentacles here. And it's a theme of the month. Skill and steady effort. The Fool's Leap plus Ace of Spark must be grounded in practice. And lesson. The lesson of the month was the Hanged Woman, which is like the Hanged Man in the tarot. Appears today as the clarifier. Perspective, patience, and surrender are key to managing today's conflict. Challenge for the month is the 9 of Swords. Anxiety may spike. In the 5 of Wands, chaos. The Page of Cups reminds us to soften the fear. So that was interesting in the month. The challenge is going to be that. Oh my goodness. Gift is the Page of Pentacles. New learning. Grounded beginnings. So I have some grounded beginnings through all this pain and this hanging here. Deciding where I want to align and how that works with others. And sometimes you can't work with others. The differences are so different that they want a whole new government. That is not where I want to be. And that's not who I want to work with and be aligned with. So that's some of those things. Excuse me. It balances the Fool's energy with practicality. And the outcome, the Queen of Cups, outcome of the month, emotional wisdom. Today's Page of Cups is the seed of that maturity. Hidden force, the 7 of Swords is worth a hidden force of the month. It's trickery, self-deception, being deceived. The 5 of Wands reveals how ego and distractions mask deeper truths. And the clarifier, the 9 of Cups for the month, it reminds a long arc, even in today's chaos. Wishes can align. And the Schumann resonance anchor, it's not on this picture. It's a big card. It was the Knight of Swords. The speed of today's 8 of Wands echoes this fast-moving collective energy, sometimes reckless, demanding discernment. You have some planetary things happening. Excuse me. The air Trine Kite begins. It's activating today and through the 21st. Mercury opposes Saturn Neptune, exposing illusions, sharpening truth. The Fool plus the Hangman echo this comic pivot, leap forward, while seeing the truth. So we can go forward while we see the truth. See the truth. The Eclipse Corridor continues. Pisces lunar eclipse, September 7th. Virgo solar eclipse, the 21st. Got a bird out there. The 8 of Wands mirrors this acceleration towards the eclipse gateway. Sun and Mercury near South Nodes, Virgo. Stripping old thought structures. This does not feel good. This resonates with the 5 of Wands. Conflict, illusions are breaking down, revealing what doesn't hold. So planetary takeaway, the cosmos is accelerating disclosure and change. The collective is emotion, but clarity. The Hanged Man must guide action. Fool plus the Ace. So guidance today is a day of ignition, conflict, and acceleration. Excuse me. I thought my tea would help. Sparks of inspiration rise, but so does restlessness. Conflict may flare. But it's also a chance to clarify direction. Resilience is tested, but the Eight of Wands shows rapid momentum follows. The Page of Cups wants to soften play and stay open-hearted. The Fool says leap into the new. The Hangman counters, pause, reframe, then leap with wisdom. Daily affirmation. I embrace new beginnings with courage and compassion. I hold my ground with resilience. See with fresh perspective and allow momentum to carry me towards truth and to carry us. So I will be back around, I think I'm going to pick the time, like 4:20 to do a live stream on Rumble. See you soon. Good morning, beautiful souls. Teresa Kautman here for the Woo Report and talking about the energy today. Hopefully today is better than yesterday, but there is an anomaly that came through after 10 a.m. yesterday, about 1 p.m., and you can see that here, this right here. What the heck is that? We'll see what the charts say about it. So once I do this for longer, maybe I'll have seen this before, but I've been looking at charts every day. And previously I did it just for, personal use. I didn't use it for, I just did it to moderate and to understand my own energy and what was happening, trying to figure out. So this, I have honey in my tea today. Hopefully it helps with my coughing. The energy has been so bad. It's just has us at odds with each other. And then that brings on like karmic conditions that we're at odds with our actions. And think, oh, should I have done that? And just emotional. I did a live stream on Rumble yesterday afternoon, so if you want to see more and get updated on the charts, I try to do a live stream on Rumble. I'm going to try to pick a time, say like 4:20, and be there. And I do not, currently, I have to refrain from doing any kind of marijuana and things like that. If I want to dream, if I want to bring information to the collective and have as much information as I can possibly hold and retain, drugs aren't good for bringing that forward from your subconscious and working with energy into the conscious. Once in a while, it's okay, like to activate it or, to come in touch, realign. I've worked with mushrooms before, and I'm not, haven't done it long enough to see if it will affect my dreams. Or when I was using it for depression, maybe microdosing for about a month or so, I didn't look at that aspect as part of my health, dreaming. So we'll see how that goes. But like at 4:20, I'm just going to pick a time. I'm going to do a live stream Rumble. I haven't been putting it on YouTube because I'm not at all censoring myself. Let's put it that way. I'm not censoring anything. Well, I am to a certain extent, like you'd censor any, thing you're putting out in the public. But I mean, my opinions or my views on topics. Yesterday I just bawled about what has happened in my family because of Charlie Kirk's assassination, murder. So that's been really fun, and even for the whole collective. And through all this turmoil, it was one of my best intuitive hits so far on the tarot cards. And even a dream that I had, now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it has some very similar aspects to what happened. I wrote down my dream. I didn't share it with the collective. I got a script. I did all these things. But I wanted to create this video, and I started this video. So this would have been a way more impactful dream had I did it before, but it still might have some information in it because I don't think it was all about that event for the collective. It's about going forward and some other things that happened. But really interesting. In the dream, I said to the person next to me, I was in a school campus looking for a class, and room 337. Combat boots are in the dream symbology. Messing with some laces. I couldn't figure them out. They were too fancy for the boots. And anyway, by the time I found my class, I was mad because my ex-husband was already there, and he had never, when we were at the, like the lunch table in the dream, when I told him I was looking for that class, he said nothing. I know where that class is at. I'll take you. So I was like roaming around the campus trying to find this class. Had an event happen in the auditorium. That's kind of interesting. But anyway, when I get to the class, I go in, and it's like odd class, like, I guess how you would expect a dream to be. All the, like where my husband was sitting when I looked down at him was like he was down in a lower little level and had a round table and what looked like a normal table and chair situation. Whereas I was on this standing couch, and I'm in between two people, and I turned to the people to the right and I said, I did it. And that freaked her out, and she just went into hysterics. Anyway, to the left of me, before I said that, there was this model of something. See, so my mind wasn't clear. I didn't have a clear image. It looked like a gray mold uprising kind of thing, but I couldn't tell what I was looking at in the dream. So hopefully, as I try to get more information from the collective, I'm going to start praying that God would send me more intuitive information about things. I'm already intuitive, but I need to get clear about stuff. So maybe some fasting and things like that, some detox, saunas. Because I really do believe how clean your body is and your mind is how clear that information can come through to you. Also, too, the division that happened is not good for us, so I'm hoping things can settle down. So here is that weird thing, and this is today's guidance, but I'd want to start with yesterday's, so we can, because this really is mapping yesterday's energy. And my guidance that I gave yesterday was from this space here, 10 a.m. till 10 a.m. today. So that's still in effect. And my future guidance is from 10 a.m. today till 10 a.m. tomorrow. So let's turn this one off. And go to 9:15, which it still is 9:16. Oh my goodness. Finding the day today was a challenge. Okay. This is today. Not today, but till 10 o'clock. So it should match up this energy, and the rest of it's coming through. Excuse me. So here's the total draw. Lots of swords, as we can see. Yeah, lots of swords in the energy. And who knows what this thing is. This thing. Maybe it's a magic sword. So there was the reading. And the guidance was about facing endings with clarity. The Hierophant and the Emperor asked for discipline and structure. No matter what people say about wanting to get rid of everything and starting over, that's not going to work. And some of the good things that we have in our country, we don't want to get rid of. And some of the structures are good, some not so good, some, layers of bad corruption on top of good things. So it's about ending facing endings with clarity. The Hierophant and Emperor asked for discipline and structure. But the Queen of Pentacles was our challenge card yesterday until 10 a.m. today. It warned us not to lose compassion in the process. The Ten of Swords shows something completing. Yes, painful, but necessary. So the outcome was the Ten of Swords. So there's been a lot of people, reevaluating where they stand with their family and their friends and their political alliances. And now to me, it's become a little more clear. It's more than just a political alliance. It's alliance with truth, and it's alliance with, in discovering the truth in a fair and balanced way. It's and with debate. And it's also those who are against and want to subvert and take away the Constitution of the United States of America. Let's undo the Second Amendment because we created these are these layers I'm talking about of just bad decisions and are causing problems. We've created a vulnerability in our schools, in our elementary schools especially, whereas if somebody was armed there, they wouldn't have to wait for the police to get there to someone to respond to the shooter. So what if veterans, trusted, vetted, sound mind, sound body, good values, were on the campus, not as security per se, but as janitors, maybe lunchroom workers, and maybe we should go back to every school having a kitchen. Wouldn't that be great? A commercial kitchen where fresh food could be prepared for our children. Fresh, organic, healthy, prepared with people who want to be there cooking it. Because there are many people who need work, and that would be great work for a lot of people, especially older people who can cook. And some younger too. I'm not going to be an ageist. But also some of those people in between, really some jobs would require, and if the state were to control funding and everything, some jobs would require you do a lot of things. You do the kitchen, but also you help out with security, janitorial things, and things like that in between, because you're not always in the kitchen. Maybe one person is, the head of the kitchen or whatever, but basically, yeah, so that's a whole issue where you can see that there's no other place like our schools that would allow for that to happen, even in like mall shootings and things like that. There's plenty of incidences where somebody in the place was open carry, or they were a policeman, just happened to be there and responded to the situation. So all those things, and I too am not willing to give up my Second Right amendments because of these no gun zones that they've created this problem. So am I too? Because you used to see these people saying that this was the reason why he should be killed. I'm like, oh my gosh. And they were happy about it. So you're saying that about a lot of people. That's why I don't think some people realize how ratcheted up people are because of this. Because this shows you how very many people in a lot of high places feel about the Constitution and about people who still want the Constitution and believe in the Constitution. And I realize that there's some amendments that are really horrible. Is it the 13th and the 17th? The one that we elect senators rather than our legislatures appointing them. That was a very important check and balance of federal and state power. So there's a whole lot of issues, and we need to get through them in an educated, adult way. And many people are ignorant to the Constitution. And I had to self-educate. I had a little bit of it, I think more so than many people today. But, I had to self-educate, and that's what people need to do, really, if you want to know what it really says and the founding intent. And it's really kind of interesting. I really, really like it. The HBO series, I forgot the actor's name, but he's pretty famous. The John Adams series, I really like that because his wife was really influential and really should be considered part of the founding parents. So, in the hidden energy, it's the Knight of Swords. So we were just like, and that's also in the monthly draw. So that was a powerful day yesterday for pain. So I guess that's why I ended up crying. Was it around 1 o'clock? I can't remember when I did the live stream on Rumble. But again, I want to do that on a regular basis. Now, if I don't say anything too controversial, I might be able to post it to YouTube. But most of my viewers have been on BitChute and Rumble. First BitChute and then Rumble. Of course, this isn't like for the average conservative or libertarian even. Maybe a libertarian might be less religious and saying, oh, tarot cards are okay. Some people are, it's the devil. I don't believe that. Otherwise, I would not be doing it. Okay, so that was yesterday. And the affirmation yesterday was to honor the endings that clear the path, because these endings will clear your path forward, and ground yourself in effort and compassion, balancing discipline with heart. Fear may whisper, but truth and steady work carry us forward. We have to remember that as the collective. So the Nine of Swords, yeah, the anxiety is real. It was real yesterday. But the Eight of Pentacles, Clarifier, says keep working one step at a time. The Knight of Cups reminds us to keep heart alive in the middle of discipline and endings. And I really do believe, too, I've gotten a lot of nights, like right after Charlie Kirk's death, I got a Knight of Swords. And when I read it, it sounded so much like him. And it sounded like, it said he was a flash in the pan. I don't think he would have been politically, but I think it was indicating that his life, his career ended up being a flash in the pan because he was assassinated for what he was building a political career on. And I had no problems with what he was saying. A lot of the things he said were taken out of context. I listen for context and meaning. So when somebody reads Leviticus, the scripture, I don't say that that person is saying that they should be stoned. He's just referring to what a kinder thing the New Testament is. Kinder, gentler dogma. Loving, open. I really do believe it's open religion, so opened it up. Anybody, everybody, we're all the same. No male, no female. We're all the same in the spiritual realm. We have access to the same power and the same enlightenment and all that. So maybe we always did, but maybe the powers that be needed to know, and Jesus really clear on a lot of those things. So on the needful things. So that was yesterday. So let's get into today. That's going to start at 10 a.m. That's the guidance starting point. So we can turn off the 15th. I'm going to rename it the 15th so I know. We'll turn that off. We'll turn that on. Okay, so here is the 16th. The guidance for the 16th. So, no, that is not the 16th. Oh my lordy, lordy. I don't know if it's something with OBS, something with me, but it's messing me up. Okay, this is today's draw from 10 a.m. this morning, the 15th. The 16th to 10 a.m. on the 17th. So here's our cards, and we have the root. I haven't seen this one in a while. I think it may have shown up once when I was doing this in August. So the foundation is a surge of fresh energy, creativity, inspiration, the spark, new beginnings. This card speaks of ignition. Something in the collective is ready to move forward. It's a fertile start, but it needs direction to catch fire properly. And I like that it's the ignition, and then it's the keyhole we're looking into. So that's kind of interesting. I do like this deck. It's Liz Houston's deck. It's called the Dream Keepers Tarot. I don't have her book here handy. There's the other two. Oh, here it is. It's right here, the Dream Keeper Tarot. And I really do like a lot of her interpretations of things. She's really good, bringing more depth to the cards. And we have the Five of Swords that seems to be just still hanging around, and we feel it, we've seen it, it's still here. The collective atmosphere today feels contentious. The Five of Swords warns of hollow victories, arguments, and power struggles where no one truly wins. With the Ace of Wands, root energy the new energy may be sparking conflict instead of collaboration. I hope not, but there has to be some defining of where we stand. And I think that's what a lot of this contention is. I want to know where you stand, how firm you're standing. You know, like if I'm not firm, I'll say, well, maybe, and I'll be a lot more giving and a pushback when your views are different. But if I'm firm in my foundation, like I am firmly committed more than anything to truth, love, light, God, than anything, that first. But then, even before my family, and I hate to say that, God is before my family. And also, I didn't realize this, but when push comes to shove, my country and the Constitution of the United States of America is more important to me, but it continues. Because my family, you know, it's here. And I have a family. And I've left that family of origin and haven't been back for a while. So I realize we may all go through points without a family, but we need the structure of the Constitution. We really do. And we need the citizens to all be aware of that. And that's why some people have problems with many people who have whole different legal systems, having whole towns and cities in America and want a whole different legal system. That's not going to work. That's incompatible with the Constitution of the United States of America. So there's a lot of these contentions that need to be worked through, and you're going to see more and more people who come to that realization like I did, having to figure out, well, what does this ground look like? I've never been put in this position before, or I've seen so many people openly calling for the death of people politically who just espouse normal constitutional rights and are framing them under layers of, just corruption and mind twists. Like saying Charlie Kirk wants, and Stephen King did this, Charlie Kirk wants to stone gays and transsexuals. No, he never said that, never espoused that. In one podcast or another, or some debate, he quoted Leviticus something or another where they stone homosexuals or whatever. And then for the most part, like Thomas Jefferson knew, excuse me, we can just throw out the Old Testament. I think he wanted to keep Psalms and Proverbs, and he made the first red letter Bible. People were like horrified because he cut out all the things that Jesus didn't say. So pretty much he created the red letter type of a Bible. So really interesting. Thomas Jefferson is a really interesting person. I know a lot of people hate him and says that he had children with slaves, but I think he really loved her. And at the time, they couldn't get married. But if you were around somebody all the time and you were compatible, you probably fell in love. So that would probably be the dangers of having house slaves. And if you're a kind person and you talk to that person and you want to dine with that person, you may fall in love with that person. That's showing you a lot about who Thomas Jefferson was. He didn't force this person to love him or whatever. Even though you owned him, you fell in love. That would be a whole really good storyline, wouldn't it? I like to write children's stories. They're simple, but that would be a little more intense, but it seems like a good plot and a different narrative. And to me, that's part of the woo, if you can look at historical things and like where we're going as a country and look at a positive. Don't look at the negative thing they're putting out, like even in sci-fi movies and books, even the older ones like Brave New World and 1984. If we looked at them in new ways, like no, that parallel society out there was better. We were stronger humans. We didn't have the technology that they have in the city or the drugs they have in the city, but we had natural things, each other, and celebrations of just being human. So I think there's a lot of ways that we can take the flow. Some people call it a karmic flow, a slipstream of time. It's moving, and people know that, the controllers know that we're controlled by like books, propaganda, and they can control that stream because our minds are the creative ones and put reality into motion. So with that, we have to realize that that's how powerful we are as a collective. And they want to net us en masse as much as they can into their way of what they want the future to look like. Some dystopian place where we have to stay in a 15-minute city and eat corporate ding biscuits. I don't know what kind of food they're going to be feeding, but if we had no competition, they would feed us whatever they felt. There'd be cricket crackers or whatever. It would be what they wanted to feed us and what they thought was economical and things like that. Fake meat, lab stuff, freaking food. So I don't want that. You don't want that. So as a collective, we need to get along so we don't have that. They want division so bad that we will destroy everything. I don't want that. I do not want that. So we need to come together ASAP. But until that time, I think we're going through this this shifting and sifting of our views. And that takes a bit of time. So we're still processing what has happened. And in my tarot reading for the collective on that day before that shooting happened, the 3 arcanas in my spread, I said, we'll see if something happens today that affects the collective. And it did, and it just followed suit of what happened. The fates was the outcome. And the challenge was the sun. The foundation of that day for that reading was the moon. And the vibration was the 9 of Pentacles. That's almost says we didn't know this was coming. We did not. It's like we were buying and selling and giving in marriage. We did not know what was coming. And the challenge of the day was the sun. We would be challenged to find joy and happiness. And the outcome was the Wheel of Fortune or the Fates. So it was really interesting. I believe the hidden energy was the Seven of Swords. But those aren't as important. The main draw are those 4 cards. The foundation, the vibration, the challenge, and the outcome. And the clarifying cards can be helpful, but sometimes they're just, can make it just a little more confusing. I just do it to add a little more information and different decks. As you can see, our clarifying cards are the Fool today, which is from the Crow Tarot, and then the Hanged Man is from the Tattoo Tarot. So really nice cards, and I put a link down to them in the description. So we're really going through it. I didn't even get a chance to do a weekly, because that's my plan. It would have been my first weekly, because I've been trying to refine this since August. Refine, how I'm going to present. And one of them was I wanted to do a weekly, and that would have been fine if nothing would have happened. And I wouldn't have been like, oh my gosh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And then trying to deal with my own emotions and things that happened in my own family based on that event was big. A lot bigger than I think people know, because it is making them think, do I want to be affiliated with that? and will that allow me? So if I'm in that political party, that political ilk, can I still believe in the Second Amendment? Excuse me. Can I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America and free speech and the Second Amendment without being assassinated? That's scary. And without people gleefully thinking it's so great for our country. Those people, to me, are like an enemy to the Constitution of the United States of America and everything I stand for. So you can see how big that is if you have those beliefs, and all of a sudden you're face to face with people in your whole family who want to undo everything, want to undo the Constitution, want to do your right to bear arms, your Second Amendment. So as you can see, there's big things being processed in the collective. And I can't get away from that either. I'm in the collective for now. I don't know what happens when we die. If we're in a new collective, I guess so. If we go to heaven or wherever, we're going to be together. Anyway, so we're together now, and we'll be together forever. But maybe not as enemies. But so there's some separation processes, like separation in your life, and I can't be with them anymore, and things like that, and it can be very painful. So yesterday was really a painful thing. So today, it's going to be some of the same. We want new energy, but it could be just to clarify these contentions.